What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this is on breakdown what's going on with NIO stock, what you should be watching for as time goes on. I'm going to break down why there's going to be a major catalyst coming out very soon, how this could end up affecting NIO share price, and also what the news is saying about the markets as we have more details to be discussing. But before I break anything down about what's going on with the markets, before I talk about what's happening with NIO, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. Anyways, looking at NIO from a technical standpoint, NIO is showing a little bit of weakness as it ended up retracing a bit. However, it's not the end of the world because technicals alone are not going to determine what happens to NIO. What's going to determine what happens to this is going to be deliveries data. And even if we are looking kind of weak right now, we could still see a massive bounce on Tuesday when the market opens again. So as a reminder, the market's going to be closed on Monday for New Year's. The New Year is coming. In commemoration of it, the stock market will not have open market trading on Monday. We're going to be back on Tuesday. And by then, NIO should have its deliveries numbers out for the fourth quarter and for the month of December. This is going to be very important because NIO is expecting 47,000 to 47,000 to 49,000 basically deliveries for the quarter. I think that there's going to be a good chance of them meeting that target. We're looking for a 17 to 22% increase year over year. We want revenue to be very similar as what we saw as well. So we're hoping for some good numbers for NIO. We're looking for some very, very good ranges. I hope that NIO does very, very well. There's also some news that came out that NIO has released new battery rules and new conditions to apply after January 1st. And that's going to be very important because they're talking about new developments that are going to be coming, how on earth upgrades could happen, and also some new announcements about their capabilities. They're also going to be able to permanently, customers will be able to who purchase a NIO vehicle are going to be able to basically still be able to purchase a new plan permanently to upgrade their battery standard pack to a long range battery pack at any time. And with the new upgrades to the batteries, this is going to give more options for their customers. So this news is coming out. This is big news for them. Hope that this goes very, very well for them. There's also some news coming out where the news is just kind of like comparing NIO stock with that of Lucid. And this is going to be interesting because they're not just like rivals, at least from the way I see it. They both have lots of potential. But this interesting comparison just shows how both of them could be winners for the year. And I think that looking at Abu Dhabi, they did prefer NIO, if anything. And I think that that's just another sign of the potential in the stock. Now, as far as NIO goes, NIO had 74 million in volume, a little bit below average, so it's not falling on extremely high volume. And we still have these buy ratings from different analysts. The price price ratio is still holding up because NIO is still doing well. Remember, guys, NIO was not the only stock that was red. Tesla was also down 1.86%. SPY is down. QQQ is down. The whole market came down a bit. This is part of why we ended up seeing NIO sell off. But the question is, how are things going to move going forward? I'm going to switch over to SPY and then break down more charts before I talk about NIO. SPY could see some downside. You can see we're kind of shifting our market structure, establishing a lower high. We could see this retrace towards 472 very soon towards this wick right over here. Small retracement would be completely normal. That's also going to be a test of the 4-hour 50 EMA. I find that very probable, especially going into next week. We might see a little bit of downside as a result of that. Now, despite that, I just want to call out that on the daily time frame, since we're about to start a new month, the daily is looking kind of like a little bit weaker right now. We might see a little retracement coming at the very least, which could develop into something bigger. That is what I'm anticipating so far, so watch that very carefully. On the weekly time frame, although we held up nicely, we are looking not as strong on the weekly. You can see we have less volume right over here. If you look at the way we closed, we didn't really pump as hard for the week. So this could be another signal suggesting that the market's kind of like topping. We could see a small retracement that would be completely normal. And we'll see how much the market retraces, especially as we approach January. So watch that very carefully. For Tesla, I want to call this out. Tesla has big deliveries numbers coming out. We're expecting over 1.8 million deliveries with over 480,000 for the fourth quarter, basically. So let's see if Tesla does well. I'm going to break down the numbers for NIO tomorrow for that video. I'm just going to talk about charts, at least for now. But Tesla's going to make a big move. It basically closed very close to this 250 area. If we make a bullish move after deliveries, we could see Tesla pump very hard. We have a bullish divergence, so it might pump back into the 260s plus. If it ends up missing deliveries, or if they just barely meet expectations, sometimes it drops, and we could see a move all the way down to the 230s. So I'm not going to try to predict it, guys. Historically, Tesla does tend to beat, but the expectations are kind of mixed. The best thing I could really say is just wait and see how it goes. As far as Apple goes, I want to call out Apple right here. Apple is actually kind of like stuck. It's looking a little weaker right now because it ended up breaking below the yellow trend line I had drawn out. So I told you guys if we broke 194.4 on Apple, we turned bullish. If we broke below 193.5, we turned bearish. We broke below, we're looking a little bit weak, barely holding 192. Looks like it's a little bit weak. Could see a move back down to 191, which could drag the market down. So it's looking a little bit weak in this triple top like formation. Could start sinking. So just be a little careful on Apple as it's looking kind of weaker. For the QQQ, let me just talk about the QQQ and Nvidia before I finish the video. With NIO, we have this bearish break from the rising wedge on the triple Q, and it's starting to come down towards this 408 target. I called this level out a few days ago. Could drop a bit more, so watch that very carefully. I think it's going to come down to 405.7 again. And then we have Nvidia stock. Nvidia might actually see some whatever retracement as well. It actually broke out of this wedge, looking a little bit weaker, starting to break from it. Could be looking for a movement back down to 488. So now let's talk about NIO. I want to actually focus on NIO right here. How is NIO looking in my opinion? Well, honestly, guys, technicals are not everything. It depends on deliveries, but NIO is kind of stuck between the 30 minutes, 50 and 200 EMAs. The 200 EMAs, this 8.94 area acting as support. The 50 EMAs at this 9.23 area. So I think we're going to be making a really big move. I think that deliveries are going to be very huge. I think that's what else NIO announces for Q4 is going to be pretty massive. From a technical standpoint, we have a head and shoulders like structure, which suggests we might see a move to the downside, but there's nothing guaranteed because this could always, this could always be a trap as well. If we're bullish, let me show you the bullish case, especially after deliveries come out. I will break down more detailed information about this later on, by the way. But if we're bullish, you want to see this thing break above 10. If we break above 10, I think that's going to be the weekly 50 EMA, the last time I checked it. So right here, we have 10.21 if we break above 10. If we break that, it has potential to start pushing up to this gap fill up to 12.7. We could be pushing up as we look bullish on the weekly. But if we're bearish, if we get some bad deliveries are just like not as strong, a little bit lackluster, we could come down to fill this gap close to $8 all over again. So are we going to come down to 8? Or are we about to push up past 10? This is going to depend on how deliveries go. And we'll just be watching for that going into tomorrow. So I'll be making another video and just talking about those numbers for now. But that's pretty much it for, for today's video. So today was the last trading day of 2023. I hope you guys had a very, very great day. The next time the market opens is going to be January 2nd, as the market is going to be closed on January 1st. The market will open again for 2024. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.